Thank you, Ozulix. Hello, everybody. This is Muppet Racemania, kart racer from 2000. I'm joined here by Green Ferret.
Hello.
Right, so yeah, we're going to be doing all tracks today. I hear that the incentive result was Gonzo, so we're going to be playing as Gonzo for this run. We'll explain more as when we get in. Right. Time will start as soon as I select Haunted House, so time will start in 3, 2, 1, go. And away we might.
Yeah. As with all good speedruns, we start in the end. So these are the end levels, so they have this top-down camera instead. It'll go back to the behind the camera for the later runs. I think there's only 6 tracks here.
Yeah, 6 tracks in the end, 3 battles, 3 races.
Yeah, and as well with all good kart racers, we're starting with not a race. There's multiple kinds of tracks in Muppet Racemania as well, so we start with a battle.
Yeah, there's battles, stunts, and races, but we won't get to the main races until the end of the run.
And there's
even
also
though we are actually in the end right now.
we start with the end because
it sucks.
It sucks. When I routed this, I think you're using the route that I used. I just found them the most difficult, and you have to win all tracks, not just play all tracks. So I didn't
just want to use my special move there, but I had to just get away. Right, I'm gonna just. So what you saw, nice. What you've seen just there, and what I'm in right now is a special move. When you fill up the beaker in the top right by collecting fruit, you get 2 options. One is to use your star boost, which is that's Zoot. Go away. Sorry. One is to use your star boost, which is your equivalent of Bullet Bill. It's easy just to explain this game in terms of Mario Kart. And then there's also I won. How did I win? What the? Okay, sure. Yeah.
Did they both get each other at the same time?
They must have got each other at the same time.
Wow. That is new. It's always a thing in marathons where it's like, oh, that's never happened before. I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. That's cool.
I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I won by doing nothing. Ow.
So, as Sam was explaining, you collect the fruit, the food on the ground. It fills up your boost meter. You can use your Bullet Bill equivalent, which is like a big blue star, obviously only in races. And then you can also use your special move. Each Muppet has their own unique special move, and it in some way immobilizes or slows down the other characters. As you can see there. The stars are your weapons. There are 4 weapons, each that work a slightly different way. Penguins are landmines that go up behind you. Bombs just sort of fly everywhere. Fish goes in a perfectly straight line. And the chickens are like sort of heat-seeking, but not quite. And they're obviously particularly useful in the battles when you want to damage the other characters. I think you have around 1,000 health, and each direct hit with a weapon is 100 damage.
Get the penguins, Bunsen, please. Oh, get away.
Yeah, Volcano is a particularly frustrating level because there is so much boost, you just get constantly specialed. So it does end up often being one where you're just trying to avoid all the other Muppets for as long as you can. You might also notice there's, in the middle of some of the little volcano bits, there's like a portal. It's like a little blue and yellow spiral. You can use those to teleport around the map, and there's a few times that will be used throughout the run, but that is what that is. You can also use it to avoid being specialed. If you're mid-teleport, the special doesn't count for some reason. Okay,
there's only 1 left, but
you are dangerously low.
I'm just gonna play this nice and safe. Much better to play it safe and not lose like 3 minutes.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the frustrating things about this category is that, if you spend 2 minutes on this battle only to lose, that's just 2 minutes gone.
How was that second? Alright. Also, if it gets to a point where, if I lose this again, I'll probably just say, well, let's just move on. Because you do have to win all tracks, but I think it would just be
Yes. Getting stuck on some of the battles.
You get the gist. We don't want to be stuck here in battles all day. I'll give it another try, but if I lose this time, we'll just move on. I think it's
I think that's a sensible idea.
Common sense.
Because, it is a kart racer after all. We want to get on to the races soon.
And yeah, part of the reason why I did actually lose is because Gonzo's special causes Muppets to sort of hover in the air,
levitate ever so slightly.
And if you we like to call it Goomba-ing, if a Muppet can jump on you, and if that happens, they will damage you. So I believe, that is what happened there.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going pretty well. This second attempt, it's just Bobo left.
Also, I think one of the cool things about this game is one of the controls, like the square button, you just hop. You do like a little hop in the air, which means that certain tricks are done a bit differently. It's not just, your typical kart racer or racer game when you're trying to get the most efficient line or anything like that. There's certain tricks you can do because you can jump. And I think it's a cool little quirk of this game. There's a lot of cool little quirks in this game that we'll see over the course of the run.
We'll just play this safe. Although I said that last time. Where are you, Bobo? Me and Bobo used... Oh. Crap. Okay, Bobo just ran away after specialing me. Good job.
Fine.
Yeah, me and Bobo used to work together for the All Bosses category of this game, for which I do have record.
Yes, you do.
7:58. Right.
Which is an incredible time.
Oh.
I have second place, and I think I'm 9 minutes something. That you completely destroyed my record in that category.
I think it's about 50 seconds difference.
Yeah. Because it is such a heavy.
A lot of time.
It's such a heavy RNG category. All the battles are, because there isn't really any superior strat that anyone has really found. It is mostly just play well, get good is the strat in battles at the moment. So this is whatever. So this is actually a top-down version of, or nearly a top-down version of another track that you'll see from a different camera angle later, with slightly different music. It's an odd choice, but it's cool seeing it from multiple angles. I
still just want to know why it's called Whatever.
It does feel like it was an afterthought in some way. One of the frustrating things I think with pretty much all of the end levels is that they have this top-down view, and there's always somewhere on the map where you can just be obscured. Like there's roofs in every level of a top-down map, which again feels like an odd choice from developers, but it does make for interesting speedruns sometimes. Especially because you can see there's Muppets hiding underneath, but you're not entirely sure where they are sometimes.
Okay, Chef is nearly out. Ozzy's nearly out. That's chicken. The sound of a chicken is actually the scariest sound in the world. In this game.
It does,
especially in this game.
It does get to you. Especially if you're, like I said, they're slightly heat-seeking. And if you go slightly off the best line, sometimes you can dodge them, but there's no guarantee.
Oh yeah, the blue shell sound is also pretty scary. Thankfully there is no blue shell equivalent in this game. Nothing that is almost guaranteed to hit you. Right, I want to go after Fozzie, as Chef is essentially Like, Chef is 1 hit. Okay, Ozzy's out. Bye, Chef.
Got him.
There we go.
You're good.
Okay, and now we actually do some races.
Yeah.
We do 3 races. Ideally, I'd want to be leaving the end at about the 10-minute mark. So, got some catching up to do, as I'll say. And now we get introduced to the boost system in this game at the beginning of races.
You've got 2 laps on.
Oh, do I?
So, which doesn't really matter for our purposes, but for the all tracks speedrun, for it to be an official time, you need to do 3 laps on all the races.
Let's quickly change that. I had actually a really good pace run once, but one of the races was set to 2 laps, so I had to redo it.
That's rough. So yeah, as Sam was mentioning, we have this cool starting boost mechanic, where it's sort of a rhythm game. One of the buttons lights up, you press it, you get +2 boost. You get one wrong, you lose a boost. I think like it's a really cool mechanic compared to like most kart racers, where it's like just press accelerate at the right time. You're really getting got by some of these chickens.
Yeah. Even if I lose, I'll just move on.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. So yeah, it's a cool mechanic that I think more games should have tried to utilize. I think at the moment our record in the community is 30. I want to say is the most I've seen someone get.
I've seen Chains get 30. Chains is 2nd place in the main category of this game. League's A and B. We've got Link and Clifford in this race. I don't like that.
Yeah, there's also this for a while for the individual level trials for this game. What you could do was pause in between each button press on that starting lineup, on the starting boost mechanic, which meant that people could get like 100 boost. And because we used in-game time, it was just the race that mattered, even though you'd end up spending like 5 minutes getting 100 boost. We call it pause buffering. Kind of annoying to do, if I'm honest. I think we've banned it basically now from the individual trials.
Oh my god. Clifford, please. Clifford is not the most liked Muppet in the Muppet Racemania community, I must say. He doesn't pay his taxes.
Yeah, we have, for some reason, isolated Clifford as the Muppet that we dislike the most. No real reason for it either. He doesn't pay his taxes, is what we say.
I also don't like Link at all. Link Hogthrob, and they're both in this race. Right, last race, and then we move on from the end.
Yeah, we'll finally be able to leave the end. So another thing that we haven't really spoken that much about is there are a lot of different surfaces in the game. They'll vary slightly. So you'll see here is the ice level. So great for drifting, but really annoying for steering generally. There's also the sand that you saw on the previous level, which slows you down a little bit. And we will come across just water later as well. And generally you want to avoid water. There are a couple of times where you'll need to go through it though.
That won't be till much later, but yeah.
Yeah, we got a while. We got a bunch of battles, and one of the types of races we haven't seen, one of the types of tracks we haven't seen yet is stunts as well. Stunts are like sort of precision driving tracks, where there'll be like, stunts that you have to do, like jumps that you have to make or timings that you'll have to get on. Which again,
what you just saw there was the Star Boost.
That's the Star Boost, yeah.
Which is definitely worth using in this track because ice is terrible, especially when all you have to drive on is ice.
Yeah, when it's all ice, or the snowbanks, which really slow you down.
What the heck is this chat you're just saying back to? Yeah, this is your typical Muppet Racemania chat. Also, when you're on ice... okay, we're at the end. When you're on ice, if instead of holding boost, you tap boost, and it makes you go slightly faster.
Right,
yeah,
there's lots of little things like that we don't think about that much. But yeah, that is how that works in this game.
Now we go into battles. There is a battle league, which, like, when you finish one battle, it sends you to the next. So it is optimally to do the battles through the Battle League, but the danger is if you lose one of those battles, you then have to quit out the league and then go back to the battle you just lost. So I don't do that anymore. I just go to every battle manually. This is a good place for chaos as well. Chaos is a good thing in this game, in battles, as long as you are not part of that chaos. It teases out.
If you can ensure that all the other Muppets take each other out as quickly as possible, I mean, less for you to do.
Let's just hide for a bit. I don't want to lose any more battles. Got some time to make up.
Yeah, so I think pretty much all the battles have a way that you can sort of cheese them. Hiding in the tunnels is one in this map. For some reason, the AI Muppets really struggle to find their way into the caves, into like this little tunnel. All the other levels usually have somewhere high up where you can just sit and fire weapons. We don't usually use that in speedruns though, because it does take a lot of time. But if you need to play safe, it is good that we have all of these backups.
Right, one left. Scooter. I think Scooter's stuck. No, there you are. Hello. Please die. Get out of my way. That's the thing is, when you get them out, they don't leave the track, so they
you just have to avoid them.
And bye. No. Bye.
Yeah, this is something that happens a lot, where you have to just chase one down for a while.
Okay, we won Canyon first try.
You also will have seen that at the end of the battle there, if you press triangle, your camera will sort of auto-lock on the closest enemy. Because there is no, as a PS1 game, there is no real camera control apart from that. So it can be useful if you're trying to reverse away from something but still be able to look at it. It's quite useful.
Also, all rise for the official Muppet Racemania national anthem.
Oh, that's true. Forgot about that.
Charles the skeleton. Also, this is actually what Trafalgar Square looks like in real life, if you've not been there.
It's identical, down to the Muppet portraits on the walls. Identical. There's
even portraits of unused Muppets, like New Zealand has his own portrait. And was meant to be in this game, but isn't.
So now that we're out of the end and we're into like the base tracks,
the double kill.
You'll see during like track selection that they're split into categories based on the movies. It's based on the first 6 Muppet movies, and then at the bottom there's also the secret courses.
6 movies that were out by the time this game was released. Yep, here's New Zealand. I'll just park there for a bit, so you can see.
So we're now up to
Our chatter here, Vinny the Vixen, is possibly the biggest Muppet Racemania fan in the world, so they do know a fair bit about this game. Theatre is one of the fastest battles, but it's also one of the roughest battles, especially when you're fighting the boss. But we don't talk about Bill and Jill.
So much content. All the battles have a boss in them. There are boss fights in this game. There's so much to do. I was saying this to Sam before the run started. For like, a licensed PS1 game, there is an unbelievable amount of content in Muppet Racemania. To the point where the 100% run that Sam does now have world record in, you do have world record in 100%, is just under 4 hours.
3:56:44, I believe.
Which is... And there's still lots of, like...
The thing is, when you consider the length of all the other categories, it's really long.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second longest, and it can be done in just under an hour. It's because in the 100% category, there is adventure mode, which is basically you get to go into the track without it being a race, without it being a battle, and just sort of explore. and that becomes like a collectathon where it's like collect all the fruit in this level. There's like a little movie clip in each of the levels as well, like loads to do. Ooh.
Yeah, I would rather not lose this, so let's just do this. Oh god, Pepe's coming. Let's get all these. And now let's just go find them. Hello. Goodbye. Alright, chamber. Chamber is... Oh god, this is the hardest battle to do fast.
I think there's just so much open space that it does become very much a Muppet hunt. Like, even when there's maybe 3 left, like, there's just so many places to places to hide, so many rooms to hide in, nooks and crannies. Yeah.
But thankfully, there is an easy way to get a special move. We just go to this room and just collect all the fruit in this circle. Also, we haven't even talked about one of the best parts of this game, which is when you load into every track, you get a Statler and Waldorf joke.
Yes, that is pretty good. Yeah, you also get one after you finish. There's a couple of like winning quips and a couple of losing quips that they have as well.
I don't think it's losing, or if there are, I think they were cut from the game actually. There's definitely, but yeah, there are winning ones. I don't remember ever hearing a losing one.
No, sorry, I'm mistaken. It's that your individual Muppet will also say something. Usually we'll skip over that because we're trying to go fast, but your Muppet will say something whether they win or lose. So Kermit, for example, does his classic, yeah!
We won!
If he wins. Yeah.
There's also 3 Muppets whose voice lines are recorded incredibly bad.
Oh, it's
to the point where you can actually hear like the static, the buzzing. But here you can see also just why Gonzo's special isn't the best. Because yes, it keeps them in place, but yeah, it causes other Muppets to hover. Which is why Gonzo was one of the 3 Muppets in the incentive that would have made the run tougher. Gonzo, Kermit, and even Rizzo. Ooh.
Yeah, I would say, so, we said with the battles you want a special that stops the other racers but doesn't necessarily change the size of their hitbox. The thing that Kermit does is he turns them into, like, he puts them on the lily pads. The thing that Rizzo does is make them into a tiny cheese that sits on the floor and is small and a bit harder to hit, so it can be quite a frustrating special to play as, which is why there's certain characters that tend to get chosen for these categories.
Yeah, the other 2 options, the incentive, Janice and Dr. Teeth, would have made this much more tolerable, these battles. Oh god. Whenever I get special... Well, yeah, you can use your boost to skip through specials. Helps a little bit. Also, there's only these 2 left, and they're both down here, so... Ow.
Yeah, special...
This is looking alright.
Special is about 5 seconds, usually, and if you speed to get out of it, it's like maybe 3.5. It doesn't make a world of difference, but particularly in the main category, League A and B, which is basically just do the main races as fast as possible, it means a lot.
Ow. Where are you, Pepe? There we go. Right, it's a lagoon.
Quite like the lagoon battle. I did mention earlier that there's water. There is water in this level, but there is deeper water that you can also sort of just like sit under. This is just sort of annoying water that slows you down a little bit.
Ow. Come on, I'm turning right and you went left, Gonzo.
You might have also noticed the little arrow on the screen. That also just points out the closest enemy.
So I suppose you should also mention is the car that I'm using. This is the car that belongs to the Muppet Floyd Pepper, the bass player for the Electric Mayhem, named after 2 of the greatest bands of all time. And it's the only car in the game that has 5 stars top speed, or whatever the most amount of stars for speed is. It's the only car with the most in the whole game.
So it doesn't have the best like turning radius, and I don't even think it has the best acceleration, but it is the fastest car, so it is the one that we use.
The supercharger, the car that Zoo uses, is also pretty good, but it's not as fast.
Yeah, it's slightly faster, but it has a better turning radius and it has better acceleration. But like, eventually, I think when people first started speedrunning this game, that was the choice that people went with. But as it's got more competitive, you've eventually got to go for speed, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all the Muppets have a unique vehicle.
It's like in Crash Team Racing. Like speed character is optimal, even though other characters have like much easier cars to use, like engine and that. I've been watching a lot of Crash Team Racing lately. So. I also recently did a 101 No Major Glitches run that was 5.5 hours.
Like, the glitches in that game are wild. We've got some pretty good ones in Muppet Racemania as well. There's 2 in particular that I'm excited about. I think you'll know which ones they are, but I don't want to spoil anything because they are brilliant. Like, they're very silly,
and I'm pretty sure I know what the other one is. Yeah, one for absolute certain. Oh, there's only one left. Where are you? Where are you? Who are you? That's Rolf. Howdy, Rolf. Okay. And we're on to the last battle. For now. Actually, no, there is another battle straight after. We're going to go to Arches.
What's the difference between this laboratory?
And yes, the difference between this laboratory and Muppet Labs is competence.
So, you also might recognize that this is very similar to the whatever level that we played earlier.
Slightly different, but the gist of it is the same. Like the color scheme, the floor design.
Absolutely. I think this is probably one of the most fun battles for me because it is just drive around in this circle and crash into everything you see. That is, I don't want to say it's the meta because you really can't have a meta in something with as much RNG as these battles do, these Demolition Derby battles do. But that's what I do.
I got Dr. Teeth out and then Dr. Teeth Goomba Johnny. Johnny is usually my main character for Leagues A and B. Usually for this category I would use Janice. Because Janice is cool, although Thermal Square here does not like Janice for some reason.
Why not?
But I don't know. Maybe because Janice screwed him over in a run.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, that's a very valid reason to just hate on a random video game character. She's rude. Fair enough.
Yeah, she's the lead guitarist for the Electric Mayhem. I always thought it was Floyd, but no, Floyd's the bass player. Oh, speaking of Janice.
Ooh.
Okay. And speaking of Johnny, you know, let's go up here.
But
a little bit low on health. But thankfully they're both quite low as well, so...
So, what I was saying earlier about sort of cheesing levels, for some reason the Muppets just don't come up to this top level. Unsure how or why, but we'll take advantage of it while we can, right?
Ooh, I didn't see Johnny there. Ooh, panic. You know what? Let's just do this.
I want to say it's when you're on less than 100 health, or is it less than 200 health, where you have these sort of black fumes coming out. I want to say it's 200, because usually you can take people out with 2 weapons when they're at this point.
I get another penguin, that would be nice. Ooh, that's a bomb. Johnny's just following me.
They get bloodthirsty after a while, the Muppets, yeah. Ooh, bomb.
Oh, he's going the other way, okay. Okay, we won. Archers,
Well
right? This
done.
is the last battle. This is the last battle.
Yeah, after this, it feels less go fast, and there's more tricks and races to go. So this level is basically, you'll see at the very top there's like a big star. It's like the... I don't know what you call it. Podium, that's what you would call it. The podium for when you do the Battle League. So when you win the Battle League, you'll be in the center of that big star at the top, and you'll have all the little ones around you. You can't get up there. I've tried in the regular battle, but you do sit up there. There's another podium level that we'll come to in a little bit as well for when you win one of the race leagues.
Studio. Don't get me started on Studio and 100%. It's awful. I mean, it's not that difficult, but it's really unforgiving.
Yeah,
It's the only level in this game where 100% requires really, really precise platforming. There's others that obviously require platforming. It's the only racetrack that requires so much platforming.
Yeah,
Gallery requires a little bit, but not nearly as much as Studio. And Studio's is way tougher. And it's right at the end of the run.
It is. I've been caught out by Swamp as well, because it has the tiniest bit of platforming where you need to jump from one tire to another tire in order to unlock a Muppet. And I have fallen off of that so many times.
Oh, Scooter's just taking the portals, okay. Let's stop
more
that.
portals. The Muppets do tend to just get completely stuck. Yeah.
Thankfully, one hit. Where are you? There you are. I'm dead. You know what? Let's just... You get the gist.
I guess we can't win them.
Let's just move on.
Don't spend any more time on
I've
the
lost
battles.
enough of battles, I think. Let's just move on.
Yeah, it's a tough category as a result of those battles. So now we're moving on to one of the other unlockable races, one of the secret courses at the end. This is Fraggle Rock. One of my favorite songs on the soundtrack is Fraggle Rock.
As Ferret said earlier, for all tracks you do for the category you do need to win all tracks for it to be valid. But again, I think we were there long enough. We got the gist.
Yeah, we know what's going on.
Yeah. For a marathon, I think it's absolutely fine. Just move on. Right, and Disco. This is actually the last battle because it's a battle race.
Yeah. So you can, through adventure mode, unlock the ability to do a battle race on any of the races, but this one is automatically a battle race. It's the only one that is. It is also the last level you unlock in a 100% run. I can't remember.
Say goodbye to the bit rate.
Yeah, there's a lot to keep track of here.
So you have to win the race, you also have to not lose all your health. Because if you do, you're out.
And it's also not enough to just eliminate all of the other Muppets. If you do that, you still have to finish the race in order for it to count as a completion. There'll be a few of these levels that are with the races anyway that are very long, and have a lot of fruit and food on the ground, and so it's best to use the special star boost that you've just seen there. And because, as with the portals as well, if you're in star boost, you are immune to being specialed. It'll help you save a little bit of time, even if it's not necessarily the fastest way to go. Because you don't get to steer when you're in that. It's like we mentioned earlier. It's like the bullet bill in Mario Kart. You can't steer, so you can't take any shortcuts.
There's one track where we'll definitely be abusing that later in the run.
Mm-hmm.
Notorious
amongst runners. Yeah. If there is ever going to be a trick in this game that has a bounty on it, it's going to be the ability to basically skip Doc as much as is possible. Doc is dreadful. It makes or breaks runs in pretty much every category that it's in.
Alright, and now we're out of all the battles, and now it's time for stunts.
Yeah, so the stunts have this third camera, this sort of side view, and as we said before, it's basically just a precision driving track. You also get to see some of these fun clips where you get to hop up in the air like that. There's a few of those. There's loads in the game. I don't think there's that many that we're actually going to utilize, though. That's one of the key ones there.
There's one in the next stunt we will be. In fact, there's a few. Yeah, there's a couple in the next stunt. Mountain.
Mm-hmm. There it is, actually, yeah.
Get up there. So yeah, Muppet Labs is... It's my least favourite, but... Gotta be done.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. You'll notice as well there's these giant magnets. Basically, all of these stunts have something cycle-based in them that you'll have to wait on, which is frustrating, and it means that basically all of the best times in stunts are like 5 seconds apart because you have to wait on the cycle.
Mm. There are ways to skip having to go for cycles, but they're difficult. If you want to see, if you want to see something impressive in this game, go watch the All Stunts World Record from Bont.
Yeah, that is
it's very good. It's like there's only like minor mistakes in that run.
Mm-hmm. It basically, you performed perfectly. The stunts in this game are an incredible speedrun to watch because you basically don't stop accelerating the whole way. Yeah, so we're on to Mountain. There's a bunch of proxies in this as well that look very cool. There's also Muppet Racemania's very own cannonless. Are we going to try go cannonless?
Yeah, we'll give it a go. Ooh,
we'll have a go at cannonless. That's a little bit later on. Here's some of that annoying water that's actually deep and you can fall in.
There's one.
Excited.
Right. Here's the proxy. Cannonless. I nearly messed it up.
Next one. We do love cannonless.
Only single cannonless. You can skip using both cannons if you have enough boost. Second one's a bit tougher though.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a decent mountain overall.
Yeah. Mountain is probably my favorite stunt. I find the stunts quite frustrating generally, but Mountain is probably my favorite.
I mean, it's between Mountain and Diner. I do like this stunt as well, but it's slowly... This one, Rooftops, used to be my favorite. Also, Merry Christmas. But 100% really didn't help with that.
Yeah, so 100% has this really weird requirement where there is a character on every map in adventure mode called Doozer, who is a Fraggle Rock character, and you have to push the Doozer into a little portal and send him home. And it is really annoying. It's not easy to do, but it's particularly difficult on this level because of the ice and because you're pushing them over two like big. We'll see them in a bit, but like two big troughs in the roof, basically.
Right here. So that
Yeah, like
the bit where I just was, where that first star is where Doozer would be. Also, pipe skip. That was sub-minute. That was really good.
so. Moving on to.
I said that might be the best rooftops I've ever done.
Oh, nice. Moving on to probably the fastest stunt. When you get through it all properly, and with some of the coolest skips for me, some of the ones that I like the best. Burger jump, for example.
Yeah, I haven't learned burger jump yet.
Burger jump's cool. You can. There's a bunch of like burgers you'll see on that countertop next to you that you can like ramp off of.
Nice air vents. This way. You can pretty much do this whole stunt without letting go of accelerate, or if you're good enough, which I am not at the moment.
To be fair,
so this still here, you can just clip through it.
Yeah, to be fair, within the community, there's one person who is very good at stunts, and everyone else is okay. I would say.
Do you want dessert?
Like stunts is my definitely my weakest part of the Ultrax run.
Yeah, Bon is like far and away the best at stunts.
Mm-hmm. So Restaurant, another one of my favorite in the soundtrack. Love the singing.
We have to wait for this cycle, so we just use the time to gather through. In the All Stunts run, we actually optimally start with Restaurant, because these elevator cycles don't start when you click to start the stunt. They start when you load it into the area, as it were.
Mm-hmm. When
so
you load
time
level rather than click to start the race.
Yeah. So if you time it right, then you can save about a minute. So let's go for this. And let's go for this. It's supposed to take a whole bunch of portals there, but
why bother? Why bother? We don't have to.
Why bother when you can just skip them entirely? And also, in 100%, this is the longest split by a mile. Some splits are like maybe 5 minutes, maybe a longer 8 minutes. The split on average is 15 minutes.
As in the stunts portion.
Just like Restaurant, you do the stunt, do adventure mode, everything. 15 minutes it takes to do Restaurant.
Do you want to go to the midway?
Moving on to our last stunt, Funfair, where you can see that the trees and the bushes use the same art.
I never noticed that. Oops. We actually are going to be taking a portal here. There's lots of tracks with portals, but we never really use many of them.
So much need. There's a race in which we use them in quite a fun way.
Graveyard, yeah.
There's not a lot of uses for them.
Cycle. Oh well.
That portal back there is really frustrating as well, because there's two right next to each other, but one does not take you nearly as far as the other.
Whoa!
Hanzo.
I would say this is probably the most optimized stunt, although Diner's pretty optimized as well. Right,
yeah,
we're out of stunts, and now we're into actual racing.
About time we got to some real races in the Muppet Racemania.
Can I stop pressing the wrong buttons, please? If things go well, it'll be like just over estimate. Maybe like a 102, 103. That's fine, I think we're ahead of schedule, so... Yeah, you can actually race in Muppet Racemania, believe it or not.
It is wild that it is an option, it turns out. So,
Okay,
we've got one trick in particular in this race, which you're going to go for?
Yeah, ghost down high jump. I'm gonna have to take the other shortcut there, but nice.
So, yeah, G-Town high jump is just the ability to skip this little wall.
Takes about a second.
Yeah, it takes about a second, and I think it's a pretty cool trick. It was a part of the map that we didn't know we could get to for a while, until we started utilizing like Game Shark codes, and there's like a fly mode basically, and we're like, oh, you can get up there.
Gonna have to take this shortcut again. You're supposed to go. Nice. Thank you, Kermit.
Yeah, you're meant to go through those saloon doors that were on the left when you went between the buildings. You'll also notice in a couple places there'll be targets on certain objects in the world. That means they're destructible, and you can shoot them and they'll disappear. It does take a little bit of time to go that way. I think there's only maybe one or two other times where it comes in useful. Old London Town is one that I can think of. You don't have to do it, but it just makes things a bit easier.
Yeah, apart from the special, that was alright. Wait till Camilla hears about this. Who's even in this league? Oh, Mallory Gallery time. Why do we have Link?
I really appreciate fine art.
So there are two tricks in this level. One is very, very difficult, and it's right at the start here. It's called a Z-Believe, named after world record holder Z-Believe. With that sort of green ledge there at the start when you get to the top of the stairs, it is possible to jump over that if you get it just right and use the right amount of boost.
But here's the more
it's so
notorious skip in the level, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go.
Great run.
As you can see, that's probably not quite the intended way to do this track. I have no idea how that clip was found, to be perfectly honest.
I don't. It was before I started running as well. I don't know how that was found, but it's such a cool like, because everything up to this point has felt like, oh, little skips here, little tricks there, and then there's just, oh yeah, we skip half this level by clipping through the floor. Like, brilliant.
Oh, no Z-Believes today.
So, as I mentioned, Z-Believes, though, are very, very difficult to the point where most people can count on two hands, like, the number of times they've done it. I think I've done maybe 5 or 6 Z-Believes. Like, they are hard.
I'm up to 11 now.
Well, congratulations. Like, that is a good number of Z-Believes to have under your belt.
See why? They're all clipped. And I got my first one on a GameCube controller. Which is, like, not a good controller to use for this game. Yeah, I did get 2 in 2 days. Last week.
Yeah, one thing we might not have mentioned about the controls in this game is it's X to accelerate, and you have to hold it the whole time, as with a lot of, like, PS1 era kart racers. But also, your handbrake is circle. So either you have to like fat thumb it in order to take corners efficiently, or sort of like claw hand.
I'm going like the claw hand.
I think I'm the only person who does like fat thumb. I just like press both. This is one of the shortest races we're up to now. This is New York City. And if you just use these alleys and the subway, oh yeah, great soundtrack. Yeah, it is a very quick race.
You're not supposed to get specialed here.
It is very rare to get specialed here. That is very unfortunate.
Screw you, Link.
As I mentioned, it is basically the shortest race, and it's difficult to get like enough food to do that.
The proper term for it is food, but most people call it fruit just because it sounds better, even though one of them is very clearly a carrot. Right, we'll give Swag Strat a go.
So,
never mind, I did not get any of that fruit.
Swag Strat is basically, we'll have another go at it next lap, but when you get to this, the icy patch that we went through, you can jump onto the roof of the church, and there's a teleporter up there that you can utilize to go further along in the race. As we mentioned before, this is one of the few cases where using the forest is actually quite helpful.
Also, Kermit go, ha ha, as you've probably heard.
Actually, now that I think about it, we won't have another go at Swagstrat, because now you
No.
just go through the church instead.
I mean, we could have another go at it just for fun. You know what? Let's do it. Why not?
See if we can show off some of our cool tricks
For the kids.
for the kids.
That was not even close.
It's not an easy one. A lot of people, because it does not take that much time, people, especially when they first start running, generally don't go for Swagstrat.
It saves about 1 second.
Yeah.
But your run is invalid if you don't go for it, so. 20-second flat lap. Nice. Wait, is it Dock next or is it... No, it's Treasure Island.
Yeah, we're on League B at the moment, so you're safe for now.
The home of the cannibals. We can only hope.
So, this is a level that doesn't have any particularly standout tricks, but there is a big pitfall in the middle of the race, which would basically guarantee you'll lose if you fall in it. And of course, we jump directly over it, or just to the side of it usually. Yeah, here.
I've seen Dr. Teeth get stuck down there in a run once.
It is rough when you get stuck in there.
And the only run I've actually seen fall in, I think in one of my very early runs I fell in, but good old Thermal fell in there many times when he ran the game. Also, can we get some dancing emotes in chat? This is like an amazing soundtrack.
I don't like they went hard on this game. Like, the soundtrack is incredible. I mean, the Muppet's known for their music, but put this much effort into this game, I think was great.
I can't remember if it's this soundtrack or a different one, where it's only 2 people who composed the music. It's either this or it's Toy Story 2, which was ran yesterday by Spaghetti. That was an okay Treasure Island. Right, and... Cape Doom.
Yeah, there is one trick in particular with another pitfall in it at the start of this race.
26.
I don't know if this trick has a name. The pitfall we call the Hole of Doom.
Oh, screw you, Floyd. I guess we're going the intended way for this lap. Could have been,
wow.
It could have been worse. That hit could have hit me down into the water.
Yeah, so the sand in this game has like a weird mechanic when it's part of a wall where you can sort of just drive up it. There's only maybe 2 circumstances in which you can use it, and this is one of them. You can sort of skip off the wall, or even if you fall into the water, you can just drive back up the sand, basically vertically.
Yeah, the whole soundtrack of this game is amazing. There's so
Yeah.
many great ones. Let's see if we can get another Cape Doom skip. Just about.
So just after this race, as we mentioned before, there are podium levels. Since we've competed in a league here, we're automatically going to get teleported to the podium level, which we're then going to race. There's a cool skip as well. If you're going to go for it, you're going to go for studio skip?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great stuff.
So this is one of 2 tracks in the game. They're actually going to be back-to-back in this run, where it has a lap skip. So we're actually going to leave the track because we don't want to be on there. Wrong way! And if we grind against this wall, and then we grind against the other wall, we're actually out of bounds. So we skip like the lap trigger. Ligay. So yeah, we can just... The way these laps are counted in this game is it counts how many times you've gone across the finish line. When you go over, you get a lap. When you go back, you lose a lap. if you can go far out of bounds, that you actually don't trigger the minus, essentially. Like, as you saw there in Swamp, it's over just like that.
Yeah, the finish line doesn't extend all the way out in either of those levels, which enables you to do this. We've looked for it in other levels, but it doesn't appear to be in any other ones. I was also surprised to find out there's no checkpoint system. I think most kart racers have a checkpoint system to make sure basically you don't do that. For some reason, this one doesn't. So we're on Happiness Hotel now. This is another what's the word?
Cycle-based?
Cycle-based, thank you. Cycle-based, where there is a lift that you can use that runs on a cycle. And if you play very well, if you race very well and hit all the lines and use your boost effectively, you can make 2 lifts. You can get double lift.
We'll just go for comfy single lift, I think.
Comfy single lift. Basically, after you get this first lift, the first lift is easy to get, the first elevator is easy to get, but you basically need full boost going into the first lift in order to make the second lift.
The second one leaves at about 1 minute on the race timer. This is also similar to Restaurant, where the cycles start when you load into the track, not when you start the race.
It's actually all of the Great Muppet Caper levels that do that for some reason. They're the only ones.
See why is Link in this league as well?
You got lucky there. If you'd special a little bit sooner, you might have fallen back down a floor.
Whatever. Oh, we got Dr. Teeth in this league. One person we haven't seen much about in this run is Bunsen.
Bunsen is terrible to race against. Bunsen has the worst vehicle in the game, the hovercraft. So bad to the point where we have made it a category to complete races using the hovercraft. And he's usually so slow that you end up lapping him, which means that you end up getting shot more by the other Muppets, which inevitably slows you down. Which is why the world...
Which is why what? Sorry?
I was going to say it's why the world record holder for the leagues uses Bunsen, because he was getting so frustrated at constantly catching up to Bunsen.
Central Park, most chill level. It's pretty much in downtime, so if there's any donos or anything to read out, this would be a good time. There's not a lot of downtime in this run otherwise.
Let me take a look here and see if we have any donations that have come in. I don't believe we have, or maybe we did. Looks like we got a $5 donation that's anonymous that says, why do we need to enter Electro? Well, the only way to figure out why you need to enter Electro is to continue to donate for Enter Electro to overtake 2,000. So make sure you guys get your donations in for that. Currently, Spider-Man 2000 is in the lead at $50 with Enter Electro trailing at $10. But again, if everybody in chat were to donate $5, then that would turn the tide. So it's not that difficult to get a donation in. We do also have our Star Wars The Force Unleashed incentive for C-3PO to fight Darth Vader at the end of the run. So if you would like to see that, that is a $100 incentive. We currently have $15 raised for it, and we can definitely continue to raise more money for that one. So make sure you guys continue to get all your donations in. That will be later tonight. We also do have in a bid war for which version of backyard skateboarding that we want to be ran. There is the original version or the Game of the Year edition for backyard skateboarding. So if you would like to see either version, make sure you guys get your donations. Something as low as $1 can turn the tide there. Continue to be donating, guys, for the Real Hope Project. We very much appreciate all the support we've gotten so far and how much support we will continue to get as we progress through the marathon.
Nice. Right, Old London Town. This is, in my opinion, the toughest course in the run, in leagues anyway. There's a lot of geometry and a lot of places you can just bonk.
Yeah, you tend to bonk into a lot of walls in this level. Also, you get to utilize the little targets we mentioned earlier. There is, sometimes when you bump into a wall, you go slightly faster, you get like this little boost. We call it bonk dashing. We have no idea how it works, sometimes you just get lucky. It seems like, so it's not a thing to go for by any means.
Also, as you can see, the developers put a lot of intentional shortcuts into this game, which obviously we're gonna use a lot. There is also a category called pure racing, which is essentially the shortcutless, or no major shortcuts anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It also bans the use of the star boost.
Yeah, because interestingly, sometimes the star boost will take you through a shortcut. And there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason. Like, if you're already in the shortcut, it'll just keep going down. But sometimes it'll just take you down a different way, or the long way round as well. It also does sometimes.
That was pretty good.
Next
Also,
up, though.
Rip sub hour, unfortunately, but that's fine. Oh boy, time for Doc. And as Statler just said, this game is a shipwreck. Or this track is a shipwreck. Please go. So what we're going to be doing is trying to get a star boost as soon as possible, because we need to try and avoid every special move that gets thrown at us. Also, we could just stole some fruit, so I'm just going to wait. Also, we're going to be using a lesser known mechanic of this game, which is piggy mode. Piggy mode, I missed so much fruit there.
So, piggy mode is this function that they put in the game, which basically steers for you, and you can just hold down the drive button and the accelerate button. And there are not many uses of it. We use it there, and it basically guarantees that you get all of the food so long as you're in a straight line when you head into it. It has also been suggested to potentially use it. That's really unfortunate timing with that special move. To use it in New York City with those tight corners. It doesn't steer perfectly for you, but it does help.
It is, I believe, optimal to actually not use the star boost for this track, but it's not worth it.
It's too risky. You're too likely to lose time to being specialed. And I mean, 3 specials is not unreasonable in Doc, and that's 15 seconds, which is a lot in this run. Or a lot in the leagues, especially.
Yeah. With how short the category is.
Mm.
So this special I just got hit by Pepe's isn't as bad because you keep moving. Oh, or Link just used his special instead. He used his star boost instead of special. That's lucky. Right, and we're on to the last track of the run.
Yeah, time will be coming up after you finish your 3rd lap.
Secret Base. This is one of the tracks that actually has some RNG outside of the Muppets. That spinning platform at the beginning can spin either way. You've got to just anticipate which way it's going. There's not really a way to figure out. I have no item. Oh, I guess we'll just go this way for lap 1.
So, across the floaty pit where we realized we didn't have an item, there is a target. If you shoot it, you can go through. You see on the minimap, you can go through a little corridor between different parts of the track. Saves about, I want to say it saves like 7 seconds. It saves a surprising amount of time.
Saves quite a bit. Okay, that was clean. Right, last lap. I'll get a 103. Only a few minutes over estimate. It's not too bad.
It's a good time. That's a good time.
Especially as we are ahead of schedule.
Considering some of the difficulties you had with some of the battles, I think a 103 is a very respectable time.
Yeah. And time.
GG.
You know what the best part about winning the race is? It's finally over.
Do-ho-ho-ho. The do-ho-hos are my favourite bit. Oh yeah, well done.
There we go. 25 points in the league. If I may, I just want to show one little, just one little tiny thing, because that's not the course I wanted to go for. Yeah, it's very mentioned about water in this game. And that
They're
causes
racing
some
a
strange side
restaurant?
effects.
Boy, that gives a whole new
Especially, let's go into adventure mode. We're going to use Gonzo's default car. That's Fozzie.
Good thing I brought my
We're going to use
umbrella.
Gonzo's default car for this. And you'll see something interesting happen when I go into this fountain. This happens to every car that doesn't have wheels, and yeah.
Yeah, no real explanation as to why it happens. And it only happens on this level as well. It does not happen in other water in the game. Yeah, it's a cool little drowning Muppet animation. I have to assume... My first thought is that they've put the water in upside down.
Maybe, yeah.
Would be my prediction. Yeah, because the carts that don't have any wheels float on the water, rather than just sinking.
Yeah, there we go. That is Muppet Racemania. This is by far my favourite speed game I've ever ran. And why is it on Clifford? I would recommend this to anyone looking for a new speed game.
I think you and I would make a great team.
There's a lot of variety.
Yeah, there's categories that are skill based. There's categories that have a lot of RNG. There's some that have no RNG. Some that are heavily skilled. There's collectathon, battles, something for everyone in this game. And yeah, say hello to every Muppet here.
Oh, pick me.
Yeah, I think that's that.
Randy Piggy,
Thanks for having us.
Piggy Piggy,
Thank you
Pleasure.
so much
Randy Piggy.
for this awesome run, Sam. We're going to go to a brief intermission here, everybody, while we get set up for our next run, which is going to be Hardcore Uprising by Auntie Aaron. There is still the donation incentive for the going blindfolded, unfortunately, was not met, but we do just want to continue to say thank you to everybody who did donate for that. It was super cool, and obviously we do appreciate any and all donations. I do believe we just got another one. Yeah, we got I believe it was another 20. I'm missing where this donation is coming in, but we did just get another donation. I will find it during the intermission, so that way I can let our runners go. Here it is. We got a $50 donation from Chuck Nicey saying, picking this to throw Spyron and I for a loop in the Spider-Man run. That does put Enter Electro up in the lead, so now Enter Electro is in the lead at $60, with 2000 being behind at 50. So if you guys would like to see Spider-Man 2000, get your donations in. Otherwise, it will be Enter Electro getting ran. Time is running out, folks. Get your donations in, but we're going to go to a brief intermission while we get set up for our next run.
Bye.